The beacon fire atop the Pharos Lighthouse still burns as dawn breaks over Alexandria's harbor. 300 feet above the Mediterranean, its flame guides merchant vessels toward the greatest port in the known world. The year is 235 CE. 500,000 people live here, packed into grid-patterned streets that stretch from the sea to the desert's edge. Ships from Pergamum unload their cargo at the stone quays. Not grain or wine, but manuscripts. Wooden crates filled with scrolls, each one copied by hand, each one worth more than a year's wages for the men who carry them. Carts roll through narrow streets toward the library district, wheels grinding against limestone paving stones worn smooth by centuries of traffic. The air smells of papyrus, pulp, and ink. In workshops near the harbor, Egyptian craftsmen beat reed fibers into sheets, hanging them to dry in the salt wind. Greek philosophers and wool Haitians walk alongside Jewish merchants in embroidered robes. Roman officials pass Egyptian priests whose shaved heads gleam with sacred oils. A dozen languages echo between columned facades. Inside the library's copying chambers, 200 scribes work in silence. Sunlight streams through high windows, illuminating dust motes that drift above tables crowded with scrolls. Each man copies a different text. Euclid's geometry, Babylonian astronomy, Egyptian medicine, Greek drama. The pigeonholes lining the walls hold 700,000 scrolls. Every answer humanity has found. Every question it has asked. In the colonnades, scholars debate whether the earth moves around the sun. Their voices carry across marble courtyards as the day ends. To the south, the Serapeum Temple crowns its hill, golden in the fading light. The city hums with ordinary ambition. Knowledge as currency. Thought as empire. Alexander the Great chose this coastline in 331 BCE for a reason. Where the Nile Delta meets the Mediterranean, where Africa faces Europe across narrow waters, where caravans from the Red Sea terminate their journey from India and Arabia. Geography made Alexandria inevitable. Conquest made it immortal. When Alexander's empire shattered after his death, his general Ptolemy claimed Egypt. But Ptolemy understood something his rivals did not. Military power fades. Knowledge endures. He built the Museum Temple, university, and research institution combined. Lecture halls. Astronomical observatories. Botanical gardens filled with specimens from 3 continents. Zoological collections housing animals never before seen by Greek eyes. And at its heart, the library. The library's mission was absolute. Collect every text ever written, every language, every subject, every scroll in the known world. Ship captains arriving in Alexandria's harbor learned this quickly. Officials boarded their vessels and confiscated every manuscript found on board. Scribes copied them. Owners received the copies. Alexandria kept the originals, 700,000 scrolls at the library's peak. Athens' collections held perhaps 40,000. Pergamum, Alexandria's only rival, claimed 200,000. Rome's libraries were monuments to conquest, not scholarship. Alexandria was different. Here, 70 Jewish scholars translated Hebrew scripture into Greek, creating the Septuagint. Here, Eratosthenes calculated the Earth's circumference to within 50 miles. Here, Aristarchus proposed that the Earth orbited the Sun 17 centuries before Copernicus. The royal quarter sprawled across the city's northeast waterfront, palaces and gardens. The Pharos Lighthouse, the Museum Complex, the library. From the harbor, grain ships departed daily for Rome, feeding an empire. But Alexandria's true export was more valuable than wheat. It shipped ideas. It manufactured understanding. It preserved every answer humanity had found, waiting in pigeonholes for questions not yet asked. 3 continents converged here. Greek science met Egyptian mysticism, met emerging Christian theology. The friction generated light. The Jewish quarter occupies the city's eastern delta. Synagogues rise between tenement blocks where families speak Aramaic and Greek in equal measure. Separate markets sell kosher meat. Separate baths observe ritual law. The community numbers over 100,000, larger than Jerusalem's population. They live parallel to the city, not within it. In the Greek quarter, a scholar's villa sprawls across half a city block. Marble columns frame a private courtyard where a fountain splashes over imported stone. His personal library holds 3,000 scrolls. Slaves tend the garden. 2 streets away, the Bruchillon slums press families of 8 into single rooms. No running water. No sewage system. Human waste flows through open channels toward the harbor. The city's aqueducts were built for 300,000 people. 500,000 now live here. Underground cisterns struggle to fill. During summer months, water sellers charge triple rates. The poor drink from the harbor's edge, where sewage and seawater mix. At night, fire watch patrols circle the library district carrying torches and leather buckets. The irony is not lost on them. 700,000 scrolls. 700,000 kindling bundles. Papyrus burns faster than wood. One spark could erase centuries. They walk until dawn, vigilant and afraid. The Pharos Lighthouse bears scars from the earthquake of 796 AUC. Cracks run through its limestone base. Repairs are ongoing but never complete. The structure sways in strong winds. Engineers debate its stability in wine shops, speaking softly so tourists cannot hear. Religious processions pass each other on the Via Canopica with increasing frequency. Devotees of Serapis carry his statue toward the temple on the hill. A line of Christians exits a newly built church, making the sign of the cross. The two groups pause. Soldiers step between them. No violence today, not yet. In the harbor, workers dredge silt from the shipping channels. The Nile deposits tons of sediment annually. Without constant maintenance, the port would close within a decade. Merchants complain about delays. Harbor masters explain the mathematics of entropy. Neither side is satisfied. A scholar studies Aristotle by lamplight in his villa, unaware that 3 blocks away, a mob is forming. The argument is theological. The solution will be fire. He turns a page. Outside, voices rise. The first fire begins with strategy, not accident. 48 BCE, Julius Caesar's civil war brings Roman warships into Alexandria's harbor. He orders his own fleet burned to prevent capture. The flames spread. Wind carries embers across the water to warehouses lining the docks. 40,000 scrolls burn in a single night. Scholars form human chains from the library to the harbor, passing armloads of papyrus away from the inferno. Some scrolls fall into the water and dissolve. Others ignite mid-rescue. Inside the reading halls, smoke penetrates through ventilation shafts. Scribes evacuate carrying what they can. Centuries of Egyptian medical knowledge turn to ash. Phoenician navigation charts. Babylonian astronomy. The flames consume indiscriminately. The library survives. Damaged, diminished, but alive. 3 centuries pass. 391 CE. Emperor Theodosius issues his decree. Pagan temples must close. Christianity is Rome's official faith. In Alexandria, Bishop Theophilus interprets this as permission. A mob gathers outside the Serapeum, the library's daughter institution on the hill. They carry torches and hammers and absolute certainty. The doors splinter. Statues of Serapis topple from pedestals, marble shattering against stone floors. Scrolls are hurled from windows like confetti. Men tear papyrus with their hands, trampling fragments into dust. Theophilus stands on the temple steps, directing the purge with ecclesiastical authority. The daughter library holds perhaps 10% of Alexandria's collection. All of it burns or scatters. Pagan knowledge is heresy. Heresy must be erased. The great library limps forward, depleted but functioning. 2.5 centuries more. 642 CE. Arab forces take Alexandria. General Amr ibn al-Az sends word to Caliph Omar, asking what to do with the scroll chambers. Omar's reply becomes legend, possibly apocryphal, certainly final. If the books agree with the Quran, they are redundant. If they contradict it, they are heretical. Either way, destroy them. For 6 months, scrolls feed Alexandria's bathhouse furnaces. Systematic, methodical. Not mob violence, but administrative efficiency. Aristarchus's heliocentrism calculations burn. 90% of Greek drama Sophocles, Euripides, Aeschylus gone. Eratosthenes' world measurements. Medical texts describing surgeries not performed again until the Renaissance. Mathematical proofs lost for a millennium. Smoke rises across the city daily. Knowledge as fuel. Thought as kindling. The bathhouses stay warm through winter. The reading halls stand empty. Broken pigeonholes line the walls like extracted teeth. Scattered scrolls cover marble floors, trampled and torn. A lone scholar stands in the ruins holding a fragment of Aristotle. It is incomplete. The rest is ash. Most pre-Socratic philosophy disappears. 90% of Greek literature lost. We know the titles from references in surviving texts. Sophocles wrote 123 plays. 7 survive. Aristarchus calculated that Earth orbited the sun. His mathematics are gone. We know only because others mentioned his heresy. Egyptian historical records spanning 3,000 years burn. Medical treatises describing cataract surgery, brain procedures, pharmaceutical compounds. Europe will not rediscover these techniques until the 16th century. Advanced astronomical models, accurate world maps, engineering texts. Scholars depart Alexandria carrying whatever they managed to save. Some travel to Constantinople, others to Baghdad, where Islamic scholars will preserve fragments of Greek knowledge, translating them into Arabic, keeping them alive until Europe remembers how to read. The library's shell remains for decades. Roof partially collapsed. Birds nest in the columns. The harbor grows quiet. Fewer ships arrive. The intellectual hub status ends not with explosion, but with silence. No contemporary fully documented the loss. Few literate observers remained. The catastrophe was so complete that we cannot inventory it. We mourn texts whose titles we do not know. Authors whose names are forgotten. Questions that will never be answered because the answers burned. We don't even know what we lost. Alexandria's mission survived its destruction. Medieval monks in scriptoria copy texts by candlelight, preserving fragments. Baghdad's House of Wisdom translated Greek philosophy into Arabic, safeguarding knowledge through Europe's dark centuries. Renaissance libraries rebuilt collections. Modern archives digitize millions of pages, attempting what Alexandria attempted: preserve everything. The new Library of Alexandria opened in 2002 on the ancient site. Glass and steel where marble once stood. Different materials, same purpose. Beneath the Mediterranean, archaeologists map the submerged royal quarter. Ptolemaic statues lie in sand. Palace foundations rest 30 feet down. The sea claimed what fire did not. Knowledge, like cities, can vanish. But the impulse endures. The need to gather, to preserve, to transmit across generations. Alexandria burns eternally in historical memory. Its successor institutions glow against the night, keeping vigil. The work continues.